Warm greetings from the high 10. It's Everyday Shenanigans. This is live number 2. Pertaining to Jacqueline Trezell West, they have been indicted on second-degree murder charges for the 2 boys that they adopted into their care. This second live is pertaining to Wanda, Phil, and other relatives, grandparents. What is the stake? What do they know? What have they harbored, concealed? Any information? Do they know what happened to the boys? Were they ever told what happened to the boys? I'm going to play you audio from Good Morning America that I played the other day, but it will tie into this title of this video. You got it wrong, but you got it right. What is that, Wanda? What do we have right? What do we have wrong? You talked in this riddle last year, so now we get to ask you now, what did we get right? And what did we get wrong? Pertaining to your son and daughter-in-law's involvement in the death of these 2 small children. Thank you for joining me. This is Everyday Shenanigans. Good Morning America is the source.
This half hour with the intensifying search for 2 young brothers who went missing from their backyard almost 7 weeks ago. The reward for their whereabouts now increasing. This morning, ABC News getting an exclusive interview as we learn about some threats allegedly being made against the boys' adopted family. ABC's Zareen Shaw joins us with more. Good morning, Zareen.
Good morning, Eva. For the first time, we're hearing from the adoptive dad's family. Look, these boys have been missing over 40 days, but a small California city determined to find them. This morning, the family of the adoptive father of the 2 California city brothers who vanished, speaking exclusively to ABC News.
I just know that they were really good parents as far as I was concerned.
We offered a reward out of our own pockets.
That reward for 4-year-old Oren and 3-year-old Orson increasing to $120,000, contributed by multiple parties. Authorities receiving more than 2,000 tips and using imaging devices at their adoptive parents, Trezell West and his wife Jacqueline's home, to search for the boys. But now the adoptive dad's family says they're targets, not from authorities, but from the public.
It is misguided to blame uncles and aunts and grandparents for children who are missing that we love and care about and are trying to find.
Right now, there are people outside the home talking about where are the boys.
Police have not named any suspects.
I'm working so hard, literally day and night, to find these kids.
The boys were adopted in 2019 and disappeared late December. The adoptive parents saying they last saw them in their backyard.
Came inside the house, searched the house, me and my wife. Once that hadn't panned out, I got in the van.
Neighbor surveillance showing Trezell jumping into that van looking for his boys, the couple then calling police. The chief maintaining hope, but still suspects foul play. The biological mother devastated.
I don't have not one evil bone in my body. And for this to happen to me, it's a lot for me.
As the community continues holding vigils, the family reminding everyone they are in deep pain too.
It's like the people don't realize that we are grieving, we are hurting just like they are.
The Wests have 4 other children. They are in protective custody. The chief saying this is protocol because those first 2 kids disappeared under their parents' care. Dan?
Wrenching story all the way around. Zoreen, thank you very much.
Well, hey there, GMA fans.
Thank you for joining me. This is Everyday Shenanigans. Good Morning America is the source. This is content that came into existence last year. Grieving, hurting, she says, Miss Wanda. Once again, I'm going to ask you, Wanda, what did we get wrong and what did we get right pertaining to your son and daughter-in-law's involvement? Are other relatives in the know of what happened to the children? Did they suspect these 2 of harming the children, killing the children? Did they aid them in any way, conceal evidence? What are their roles? The West family, relatives, brothers, and also Jacqueline's family. I find it strange that none of you have ever come forward to rally for the children, search for the children, speak with the family, as a united front day one when they went before the news. They never spoke again. Jacqueline and Trezell West, why did you all stop talking, cooperating visually? You cooperated with law enforcement, allegedly, but you never spoke again, never searched again. You fell off because you knew in the end that nobody would find the children. You hoped. You knew the children were not alive, so there was no need in rallying to the public pertaining to the children. There was no need in speaking about the children publicly. There was no need in searching for the children because you knew they were dead. My. You spoke of past tense in this interview, Miss West. You said they were really good parents. That leads one to believe that you knew that the children were gone, too. They were really good parents. Wait a minute. They still had 4 in their possession at the time, up until they got taken after the 21st. So if they are good parents at that time, whether they had the children in their possession or not, you would still speak of it in present tense. They are really good parents. My son and his wife are good, great, fantastic parents, lovable parents. You said they were. They were really good parents. Maybe you didn't mean anything, but we know you have a nasty, snot-ass attitude. Threatening you. Who was threatening you, Wanda West? You and your husband, son. I believe you had a younger son living with you at the time. Who was threatening you? You seem to hold up pretty well for somebody that was being threatened, standing outside at the fence, conversing with these YouTubers and different people. You didn't seem scared or threatened to me. You didn't seem to fear for your life, your safety. You were engaging with YouTubers. So how were you threatened? Felt unsafe? Who goes outside and engages with strangers? Do you know what happened to the children, Wanda, Phil? Do you know? Does your younger son know? Jamal know? Do you all know? We have him in here talking about people threatening uncles and aunts. Well, see, what we have to ask ourselves is, did you all ever video chat from September to December with Jacqueline and Trezell? Did you ever ask to see the children? Hey, let me see the kids. And if you did you not ask about the 2 missing ones? I'll wait. What is the relationship between Trezell and his mother, Miss West? Are they a kind, caring family? He has a good relationship with his parents. He took his children to see Miss West. Let's say he did take his children to see his parents at some time. And also on the 19th, you didn't inquire about where the 2 were, ma'am? Just asking. Did Trezell tell Wanda and his father what happened? Brother, who all knows the truth? Jackie's family. A lot of people were crying and moaning that they got tired of hearing about Wanda all the time. People kept saying, hey, why aren't you messing with that other lady? Why aren't you all harassing the Hispanic people? They had a point. It's true. So what does Jacqueline's mother, father, whomever, uncles and aunts know about the disappearance of the children? If she took her children around her mother, did she ever tell her mother why the other 2 were missing? Did the mother inquire? Did any of you inquire why you didn't see the 2 kids? Or were they aloof and they stayed away from you all, knowing you would ask about the 2 missing children? Did the children ever visit either grandparents? And as I said, if they did the grandparents ever inquire where the 2 missing children were? Were they ever told? We got rid of them. We sent them back. We killed them. Discarded them. What's the truth? And as I said, did they ever respond, Jacqueline and Trezell, to their parents where the children were? Did they lie and tell them they were here, there, over there? As I said, Chief Walker lets it be known that one of the grandparents kept the children allegedly for the holiday on the 19th of December. So which grandmother are we speaking of? Jacqueline's parents or Trezell's parents? Who kept the children allegedly that weekend before they put in the missing dispatch call about the children? Did you all know back in September that the children were missing? Wanda, Hubby, brothers, Jackie's family? Did any of you know? Did they threaten you all to be quiet? Because we also hear of witness tampering. So who are the witnesses that have been threatened by Jackie and Trezell? Relatives, people in apartment complexes, people on Aspen Drive, local grocery store. What are we talking about? And the children, naturally, I can see them threatening them because they're the eyewitnesses to the deaths of the children. Wow, what did I tell you about murder inside a family? There's no such thing as love and favoritism. Kill this kid, but I threatened this kid not to tell about killing that kid. Stay woke. Does your brother know, Jamal, Mr. High Society out there on the East Coast? Your younger brother allegedly lived in the house with your parents, Trezell. Did he know anything, tell anything? Did you all have them hide, conceal any evidence pertaining to the disappearance of the children? Bloody clothes, weapons, objects used to harm the children? Or was it just the children were assaulted by the hands only? Will any of these relatives, grandparents, be arrested and have knowledge thereafter of the said children? And as I said, does Jacqueline's mother have knowledge that the children were missing since September? What are the roles that these grandparents play in the disappearance of the children? Did they notice any abuse and neglect in the year that they had the children as foster children and then adopted them? Hello, East Tennessee. Thank you, sweetheart, for joining me. Jackie's family, what are your roles? What do you know? Did you tell your mother what happened to the children, Jacqueline? And if you all suspected them for doing something to the children, why not call the police? Why not say, hey, I've been seeing them with just 4 children, but not 2. Did you ever call the police to say you noticed something suspicious with your children and those 4 remaining children? What knowledge do these relatives have pertaining to the kids? Will these people be arrested for after the fact? As I said, did they aid in any type of way pertaining to the crimes committed in September against these 2 babies? Concealing any type of information, evidentiary material. How many are holding a secret to the disappearance and death of these kids? Do they know where the children have been discarded? Will they be arrested? 40 days. This clip says that the children had went missing, and you give an interview damn near a month and a half after the children go missing, Wanda and hubby. Why is that? Why didn't you help search for the children? Why didn't you help aid, pass out flyers? Oh, didn't you tell the public they wouldn't allow you all to search or something? You felt threatened or uncomfortable? Now, that's not a good excuse, because in the end, that doesn't matter that the bio family was looking for the children. You didn't have to walk hand in hand and sing Kumbaya to look for the kids. You should act like you cared. Once again, past tense. They were really good parents. Sounds like you already knew the kids were gone, weren't coming back. No public pleas, no searches for the children by either grandparent or relatives on the west side or Jacqueline's side. Once again, did Trezell threaten those family members on both sides of the family? Neighbors, old neighbors. How much do these people know about the disappearance of the kids, the death of the children? How do they feel now that Jacqueline and Trezell have been arrested? Are they talking to them inside the jail, putting money on the books, aiding them in any form of fashion? Who's helping keep the payments up on the house? Wanda, are you and the husband helping aid anything in the house? Will you sell the house to help pay a lawyer? Or is this public defenders defending both parties? And why even pay on the house? I've questioned that. When you are obviously living in a Winnebago, traveling up and down the highway, what is the purpose of keeping the house? They were really good parents. The reward money that Jamal says the family put up, are you going to take it back now since your brother's been arrested and your sister-in-law? Are you going to take the reward money back? Because as we learned in this commentary I brought earlier, people can take, that I heard earlier rather, people can renege on the money. I didn't know that. I thought once you promised it, you had to pay it. So imagine that, promising reward money and then taking it back. That would be really nasty. So are you going to take the reward money back now that you know your brother's been arrested, he and your sister-in-law? How do you feel about that, Jamal? You were the main one in here talking about people being threatened, uncles and aunts. But now your brother, his wife, facing charges of second-degree murder of 2 small children. What do you have to say now? Kind of quiet over there on the East Coast. Guess the microphones aren't working. Wanda, Phil, nothing from you all since your son and daughter-in-law have been arrested. Nothing from the baby brother, Pookie, Ray, neighbors, nobody. But that's what's been said. There's a gag order for the witnesses so they can't talk and run to YouTube with a version. That's probably a very, very good thing. Amen. Wow, wow, wow. I'm just wondering what's the relationship between the grandparents and Trezell and Jacqueline. Were they good grandparents? Did they help aid, take care of the children? I want to know, what do they know? I want to know, do you all know that the children were dead? That's what I'd like to know. And did you ever call when you suspected foul play? And will you all be arrested for aiding these 2 bums for killing these kids? See, Wanda, I believe you know a lot. I don't know what your relationship is exactly with Trezell, but I believe you know something, because your attitude pertaining to the disappearance of the kids and the death of these kids was asinine and very petty, and it's not the correct behavior of a grieving grandparent. As you said in this commentary, we're grieving, we're hurting, but you didn't act like you were grieving and hurting. Matter of fact, you acted like your son and his wife. That's why we know he's cut from the same cloth. He was cut from your umbilical cord. He's cut from your belly. The same cold, stark harshness he learned from you and your husband. That's why he acts the way he acts. That's why he got those kids in his fold for whatever sick purposes. He and Jacqueline abused and neglected the kids and then end up murdering the children, using other children to do the dirty deed because he was wounded as a child under your direction. Jacqueline, pawn, I don't know. But to me, she's just as diabolical because she rode the ride. And when she signed off on the missing report, she knew exactly what she was doing. So she can't hoop and holler in court that she was abused, a victim of domestic violence. The day she called 911, she sealed her own fate as an accessory to the death of these small children. And when you told the news they were really good parents, you were telling me that you knew that the children were no longer alive because you used past tense. And if the children were alive at the time, to your knowledge, you would say they are good parents. They are great parents. They love their children, not they were really good parents. They were, as if you knew then they weren't coming back. Who holds the secrets to September 2020? Who knew that the children were never treated right from the moment they entered the West home? How many people realized the children were neglected, abused, malnourished, not fed, not loved? How many people watched the children hide behind the doors of the West home? How many people sensed that something was not right but never dialed 911 or CPS? How many people in the said families on both sides knew that something was not right with their children, but they kept their mouths closed? Or did they ever tell them that they didn't like the way they treated the kids? And as far as favoritism, it's with their own children, it means nothing. Because anybody that would allow and coerce their own blood to kill babies, they never love their own children. Stay woke. There's no such thing as love. When you would abuse children that you allowed to come into your fold, under your arm, under your wings, you don't love yourself. You don't love the children you fostered and adopted, and nor do you love your own children. You never loved anybody. Jacqueline and Trezell West are evenly yoked in madness, chaos. And sadly, they bore children and fostered and adopted children. And two are no longer here, deemed by the District Attorney's Office of Kern County. And I don't think they will ever tell us where the children are because they have pled not guilty. And that would defeat the purpose in telling you where the children are if you're pleading not guilty. They're going to ride the ride all the way out because they know you don't have the bodies of the kids. And if they tell you where the kids are, then that defeats the purpose of the not guilty pleas. Why am I going to give you something that I know you're not going to find? I'm hoping, praying you don't find them. I've already fucked up by leaving evidence behind. Surveillance. I'm seen coming and going with 4 children only. Neighbors talking and chattering. Eyewitnesses now. I've already testified before the grand jury 50. Places searched. Phone tech. Google searches. Evidence left behind in the house. The van, the cars. Everything. I fucked up. We fucked up. And now I've got to sit and wait to see who's going to stand in the court and tell what I've done, what I've said, such as my children. I allowed these children to become beasts when I had no right. But I did it anyway because it was a self-serving desire to watch violence. And I feel sorry for these children because that is a terrible burden to carry, knowing that you have helped kill your own siblings. What type of monster would ever allow their children to be put in such a horrendous scenario as death? Wanda, you know something. Phil, too. I believe Trezell has told you something. Possibly his other brothers. And you all have stood idly by and pretended to have no knowledge of these children. But if you had a relationship with your son and daughter-in-law, then you knew fully well in the month of September that those children were missing, and you did nothing, and you aided your son to carry this lie up until December 21st, 2020. You also helped diminish the spirit of small children who have become baby criminals, aided by their own malicious parents. And God forbid they are to grow up into young men, into adulthood, and carry those demons out into the world and exact the same crimes they exacted on their own siblings, because they are spawns of your child and spawns of your DNA. You got it wrong, but you got it right. Isn't that what you said, Wanda? So what is it that we got wrong pertaining to the disappearance of the boys? Is it that they ain't coming back? We got right. But what we got wrong is that your son and daughter-in-law didn't physically touch the children, but that your grandkids exacted the final blows to the babies. Is that what we got wrong, Wanda West? That your son and daughter-in-law stood idly by, watching the crime unfold, possibly videotaping it. And the part we got right is that the children are gone. Is that how it goes, Wanda West? Who's holding the secret to September 2020? Who knows the truth of what really happened? Did they ever confess to Wanda and Phil and the relatives? Who all did they threaten? And will everyone be honest when it is time to go to court pertaining to these babies? And will there be justice for the deaths of these small children who did not ask to come here and did not choose their parents, did not choose their foster adoptive parents, and lived a very short life? Unbeknownst to them, they would live a very short life. We got it wrong, but we got it right. Wanda West, you are indeed sinister. Possibly your husband as well. And that is the very reason why your son has been indicted with double murder charges, because he is a spawn of Wanda and Phil West. And as they say, the apple doesn't fall far from the tree. If you want to donate to the channel, $ Big Angie, 129 Cash App. Thank you for joining me. God bless all of you. Have a safe week. This is Everyday Shenanigans.